Welcome to Mondays with Maria Gould. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is April 28th, 2025. This is episode 19, and we are talking about clearing out negative thoughts. This will be a two-part series. Today, I would like to talk about the different things in our body that can influence our thinking. Now, everything that we ingest actually has a consciousness. The fruits, the vegetables, the proteins, the carbohydrates, even the water that you drink has an energy to it, has a frequency, a life force to it. So with all of these things that we ingest, we have little ride-along characters that can come with that. Things such as bacteria, viruses, microbes such as parasites, which will be the theme of my talk today. Now, this is a subject that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it really is important to talk about. Our bodies are part of nature, and part of nature is that cycle of parasites. Parasites are helpful in our gardens, right? When we want to plant healthy vegetables and grow wonderful things in our garden, we need that worm culture to actually digest the dying stuff and actually get rid of decay and create good. Now, parasites in our own body somewhat are doing this for us, but really, they actually suck all of the good, all of the life force out of us. So these are critters that we do not want to have in overabundance in our body. Now, there are thousands of different types of parasites, and all of them can bring a consciousness that make us have negative thoughts. So I'm going to go through this a little bit. Now, first of all, what would give us symptoms? What kind of symptoms would we have if we had parasites? Now, fatigue. Fatigue is a huge, red flag if you have parasites. Brain fog, muscle aches, joint aches, grinding our teeth, losing our hair, feeling like we have no luster or life in our skin, or we feel flaccid or flabby. All of that is signs of parasites, okay? Symptoms that we can get are bloating, upset stomach, right? And as I said, muscle aches and all kinds of other things. But really, it's our attitude that is affected a lot with parasites. The consciousness of parasites, and in Theta Healing, we believe that when our beliefs are at a certain frequency, a certain level, and we have certain beliefs such as, I let people use me, people walk all over me, I don't know how to say no, I don't know how to set boundaries. This sort of consciousness is what attracts parasites to us. And the more that we do belief work and shift our beliefs and our thoughts, this actually changes our frequency, and parasites no longer can live in our body. So I know when I did my intuitive anatomy class, this is one of Theta Healing's big classes where it's 3 weeks and we go through every system in the body, doing belief work and changing our beliefs and releasing toxins. And this is such a profound class that you literally feel like a brand new person when you're finished. In your thoughts, in your body, in your spirit. It's amazing. I love the class. But what we notice is parasites really hold that consciousness of being sucked dry, feeling like you have no boundaries. People take advantage of you too easily. Okay? You have a hard time saying no. all of these consciousness is what attracts parasites. And when you start shifting these beliefs, it actually helps your body get rid of parasites. So in my intuitive anatomy class, I was doing belief work on parasites, and I could sense this consciousness, and no word of a lie, it felt like I had a possession in my consciousness. This was such a negative, scary voice. It was telling me, you should just die, you should just die. And this voice, when I followed it through the Creator, watching where this voice came from, it was a large tapeworm. And I could see that this was with me from when I was a young child. And I lived and grew up on a ranch, and I was with animals all of the time. And one of the most common places we get parasites is from animals. So I could see where it began, and it had attached to the inside of my bowels. And it just gave me that grumpy, awful attitude where I would go off in a rage sometimes, lose my temper. And it literally was that very scary, almost possessed demonic voice. So as I was shifting my beliefs and clearing beliefs, all of a sudden I saw in my intuitive scan that it completely let go and it unlatched from the side of my bowels. And the next day, it was in the toilet. So with Theta Healing, we can do that belief work that helps you release parasites, release being sucked dry, and those negative thoughts that can come with this type of a microbe. Okay, so amazing, amazing stuff, Theta Healing. If you haven't tried it, I do encourage you to try it. So these negative thoughts that parasites cause can kind of change with different parasites. The main theme, the main consciousness that we see them is being sucked dry, not being able to say no, having no boundaries. But really, I've seen people with certain things like hookworms where they have a lot of anxiety. I've seen people with liver flukes. Now, liver flukes aren't just for the liver. They can be in different parts of the body. They kind of look like a little intuitive leech inside of you. And these just suck you dry. They suck all of the good nutrition out of you. And this is what I see with people with really wiry hair and those kinds of things. So when you start to release and detox these out of your body, all of a sudden those fits of rage, those old resentments that you've had forever just seem to melt away. Everything has consciousness. So parasites, when your vibration drops down and your body comes into contact with parasites, they match that frequency. They match what was happening in your life when you first came in contact with the parasite. So these old feelings will come up. If you've ever done a parasite cleanse, the very first time I had done a parasite cleanse, I remember coming back from intuitive anatomy, and we cover this subject in depth in that class, and everybody will always do a parasite cleanse after intuitive anatomy. And I phoned up my teacher, and I was just distraught and feeling like absolute crap, and I literally thought I was dying. And he laughs over the phone. Well, he didn't laugh. He asked permission to do a reading, and then he says, "Are you doing a parasite cleanse?" And I said, "Yes, and I feel like I'm dying." He says, "Honey, that's not you, that's the parasites." So my thoughts were picking up these parasites dying and thinking I was dying. So he just showed me through the Creator of all that is the difference between my thoughts and the thoughts of the parasites. And then my brain started to shift. And I realized the thoughts that I was having, stop taking this medicine, it's not good for you, it's killing you. That was not my thoughts. That was the parasites telling me those thoughts. So our negative thinking can be so related to the microbes that are in our body. It is not even funny. So now, different types of parasites, again, we can have thousands of different types, but literally it doesn't matter. The main consciousness is you can help shift them with belief work. You're going to get a lot less of a healing crisis symptoms. If you've ever done a parasite cleanse, as I just described, it can feel very awful because these microbes are dying off and releasing toxins. You're releasing old beliefs of when you first got them, so it can be quite overwhelming for the body. You can be quite grumpy, quite yucky feeling for quite a while. But with theta healing, we can do it in such a loving, easy way. It's quite miraculous. And it will shift your thoughts. It will shift your beliefs. Do you ever have food cravings that you just, all of a sudden out of the blue, you haven't eaten that in forever, and now you want to eat it? Have you ever eaten raw food like sushi, or my sister actually used to eat raw hamburger and things like that. I had somebody tell me they used to eat raw bacon. So all of these things, anything that's uncooked, carries a lot of parasites, especially meats, especially fish. Sushi is a huge parasite carrier. And these are microscopic. You can't see them. But a lot of times it is the eggs of the parasites that get embedded into your gut and then start to spread out into your body from there. So when I was doing my first parasite cleanse, I of course thought that I was dying, but it was only the parasites letting go. And all of the food cravings that I had since before I did the parasite cleanse completely changed. I completely changed after intuitive anatomy and doing that parasite cleanse because I no longer had those little microbes inside of me telling me what to eat, making me have cravings, making me crave these things that I didn't want to eat, that actually made me feel awful. But it's like they hijack your thoughts, they hijacked your self-control, and they just take over, right? So if you feel like you don't have control over what you choose to eat, then detoxing can be very, very helpful. All right, so symptoms. We've talked about some symptoms we can have when we get parasites. How do we get parasites? So as I spoke earlier, raw meat, we get them very much from our pets. Just think about it. Your pets have to go outside, especially dogs. Even cats are in a litter box. They are kind of moving around in their own fecal matter. And parasites are leaving our body through our feces. And even if we're picking up this feces, whether in a litter box or outside on the grass, these eggs are everywhere. These microbes are everywhere. So they are always coming into our body. Your animal comes into your house, it licks its paws and then licks you, right? Sleeping with your animals, all of these things that we really love and we really enjoy are part of how parasites get passed on to humans, okay? So if you choose to do theta healing to help you release parasites, I do suggest that you do a parasite cleanse for your animals. You can talk to your veterinarian about that, or even, I live in Canada, you can sometimes get some parasite type cleanses at where you buy dog food or cat food. So take a look at that, and how it works is you want to always do what I would call 3 rounds. So the normal parasite cycle, and parasites will always hatch eggs around a full moon. Part of the reason that if you go to a hospital and talk to any medical professionals, they'll tell you that things get weird around a full moon. And that's not just the full moon energy, that is when the parasites hatch. So there's a lot more kind of crazy, chaotic energy in your body. So starting a parasite cleanse just before a full moon can be very powerful because that's right when they're hatching. Okay, so starting a parasite cleanse, you're going to do it for 10 days. Now I'm talking as not a herbologist, as not a doctor. This is just what I do, is starting before that full moon and actually begin your cleanse. You're going to do the cleanse for 10 days. I do it for 10 days, morning and night. And you can get a cleanse from a health food store, and it will have directions for you, but it's very important to kind of pause and follow this cycle. 10 days on the product, 5 days off. Now, in the off time, you've just, with those 10 days, you've killed off sort of the adult parasites. Then on the 5 days off, this allows any eggs to hatch. And then you're going to do, that would be one round. The rest is the end of one round. Then you're going to do another round of 10 days. In the morning, in the evening, and 5 days off. So that's round 2. And I personally do that 3 times to really do a good parasite cleanse. Okay, this helps clean out not only the eggs that hatch, but any stragglers, so that your immune system can catch up, can clean them out. The 5 days off is really also resting your body a little bit, letting it clean out any of the debris from the parasites dying off. Okay, and each cycle of the parasite cleanse will get easier. At first, again, the parasites are hijacking your consciousness, so they will tell you this tastes awful if you're doing a tincture, or this is killing me, as I said in my story. Remember, this is the parasites. Now, if you combine a parasite cleanse with theta healing, it makes the cleanse so much easier to know the difference between these microbes, their consciousness, what they're telling you, and your own thoughts can be very helpful. So I also, when I do a parasite cleanse twice a year, usually spring and fall, I'm doing a parasite cleanse now, and I am also doing deworming of my animals. And same thing, I will do one round, so if it's a pill or something you get from your vet, and then I would give it a rest for a little bit, maybe a bit longer than 5 days, and then do it again. Now, depending on what product you're using, if you're using things from the veterinarian, this might be a lot stronger. But if you're using something from, say, a feed store, that might be a little bit easier to do the 3 rounds, okay? Just see how your animal does and really listen to your intuition, listen to your connection, your instincts with that, okay? Now, of course, how we get them is also walking outside barefoot, right? And it's starting to come spring. You might be out doing gardening, getting dirt under your fingers, not washing your hands well enough, not washing our hands well enough after going to the bathroom. All of these are ways that we kind of perpetuate the parasite cycle, okay? They are a part of life, so we just have to learn to live with them and bring the toxic load down. Doing cleanses twice a year can be very helpful. Okay, so what are some steps to actually help you get your body clean? Now, a few things that I've done are things like zeolite. zeolite, can help clean out heavy metals, which will help clean out parasites. I will talk a bit more about that next week in part 2. You can go to the health food store and look for cleanses. Now, if you have blood sugar issues or diabetes, you want to be very, very careful with any of the green or black walnut husks. Okay, this is a common herb to do a parasite cleanse, and this can be a little bit dangerous for people with blood sugar issues. So let the person at the health food store know that you have that, so that they know that you probably shouldn't be taking the green or black walnut husks. Okay, so also make sure that you're eating enough fiber. Make sure your bowels are moving. Remember, one of the main channels your body will release parasites is through the bowels. And very rarely, just so you know, you don't always see them. It's not like after I did that belief work session and released a tapeworm, I did see that in the toilet. Okay, and it kind of looked like a long spaghetti, thin spaghetti strand, kind of like Scotch tape. But you know what? It's just laying there. It's just floating there. It's dead. It's not squirming around. It releases itself when you do it with theta healing, and even if you do a parasite cleanse, it just dies and releases itself. Okay. So also doing things that have binders in them are very helpful. Binders are things like psyllium husk or bentonite clay. Even activated charcoal can be very good as a binder, so that your bowels are pulling those toxins into them and then excreting them. Now make sure you're eating enough fruits and vegetables to have things move correctly. Lots and lots and lots of water. A lot of people underestimate how much water they should drink. Ideally, if you have your body weight, your ideal body weight in pounds, so if you're 150 pounds, you would want 1 ounce per pound of body weight of water. So that would be 150 ounces of water. So divide 150 by 8-ounce glasses, and that will give you a little bit of an idea of how much water you should be drinking. Okay, the majority of people's health issues is dehydration. And because we're dehydrated, we are not able to clean the toxins out. And for parasites, that's part of the reason you have so many body aches and joint pain, is the parasites are defecating inside of you. And that toxin buildup is in your body and going into your joints and going into your muscles, especially if you're not drinking enough water. Okay, so again, I am not a medical professional. I am a theta healer, and these are just things that I do for my own health, my own well-being, and to help clear out that negative thoughts and what the cause of those negative thoughts are. So really also think about washing everything very well. You can also add just a splash of white vinegar, a splash of baking soda to a sink full of water, and then wash your produce in this. Let it soak a few moments. Rinse it really well. Okay, washing and keeping your produce clean is really important because a lot of times they don't wash it very well and even spray it with chemicals. So you're getting the chemicals off, you're getting any parasite eggs off. So washing our vegetables, cooking things well, even with your fresh produce that you're eating in salads or fruit, just wash it well and bless it. If you do theta healing, we teach you how to bless your food in the way where you're actually witnessing right back to original seed being blessed all the way through to now. It's quite an amazing blessing that I believe literally brings out the life force energy in anything. Okay? Make sure that you eat organic as much as you can. There's way less pesticides, way less toxins that are in organic food. And make sure that you work on those emotional causes of why we get parasites. Learning to say no. Learning to stand up for yourself and have boundaries on your space, have boundaries on your time, right? Learning to say no and not letting people take advantage of you, not letting people walk all over you is going to help your body not carry that frequency that attracts parasites. Being sucked dry, having no boundaries, not knowing how to say no. So working on these things will help your body go, oh, she's at a higher frequency. She feels better about herself. She knows that the value of her contributing is not because of what she does, but who she is, right? So it starts to shift us. And parasites can't live in that frequency, so they leave our body. Okay? All right, everyone, thank you so much for listening today. And next week, in Clearing Out Negative Thoughts Part 2, we're going to talk more about the different thoughts and negative thoughts that things like heavy metals can cause, the negative thoughts that bacteria can cause, and viruses. So we're going to, and candida, fungus, right? So we're going to talk about that a lot more next week, and talk about how to help shift these consciousnesses out of you as well. All right, so blessings for a happy April 28th, and we will talk to you next week. Again, if you would like a Theta Healing session, you can book through my website at mariagould.com, and we can take a look at clearing beliefs to help you release parasites. All right, lots of love. Have a blessed day.